Hello everybody out there in Flosstube world. This is Vicki, aka the Virginia Stitcher, coming to you with my Flosstube video number 49. Today is Monday, July 8th of 2024, and I have been away for a while. Sorry for that, but I had a lot of stuff going on and things just kept happening, and I just never had a chance to film a video, because when I do these it takes me all afternoon, and I have to have a whole afternoon set aside to do that. So I apologize for the delay in getting back to you guys and getting my next video up here, but we have a doozy. What I had decided is I've been really busy, so I don't have, I didn't have a lot that I worked on over the last 2 months. I mean, I had a decent amount. Most of them were new starts, only a few things that I worked on that I already had in my whip pile from previous years before this year. So I will show those few things. I also have 3 FFOs, 3 things I took and got framed, and I have them back from the framers, and they have been sitting, waiting patiently to be shown to you guys. So, and then, if you've been watching my videos, I turned 62 this year, and I was born in 1962. So I decided I was going to start 62 new starts this year. And so far, that's what I'm going to show you today, is I have 31 new starts. So I'm going to do a mid-year kind of check-in on my new starts and show you where I am on those. So there's 31 of those, so stay tuned. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. You guys do, because you've seen the timestamp on it. And I'm guessing it's going to at least be an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. Most of my videos seem to be. But I have a whole pile over here. I have a whole table full over here of all of the 31 new starts that I started this year so far, from January 1st to the end of June. So that's what I'm going to be showing today, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Also, I'm going to be curious to see how much on all of these new starts I got started. Some of them I may have only been able to dedicate a day, maybe two at the most. And others that I may have picked up again and stitched some more on. Maybe stitched on them for 4 or 5 days when I started them, and then also picked them up again and stitched on them for another 2 or 3 days. So some may have a decent amount of progress, and some you're going to see probably has very minimal. But most I tried to get a good start. I don't like to just do 100 stitches and set it aside. Usually when I want to start something, I really want to start it. Because when I was contemplating starting these 62 new starts this year, I thought, wow, that's a lot. I don't know. I already have a lot going on my in my whip pile, my works in progress. And so I thought, that's a little excessive. It's a little crazy. And then I thought, you know what? I looked at the things that I have kitted and charts that I already had, and I said, I practically have about 60 that I already want to start anyway. And I know there's going to be new things coming down the pike that I know I'm going to want to start. So I can easily start 62 new things. Am I missing my whips? Things that I have already on the go? Yes, I am. So a lot of times I'm sitting there thinking, as I'm starting all of this stuff, that next year I'm probably going to really put the reins in, really pull back on the reins for new starts for these next few years. That's my plan, is I can't continue to keep starting things and not get anything finished that I've already started. I want to be able to, continue to work on things that I've got going, because I love my stitching. I love the pieces, but I love having variety. And I love, if I want to start something, I start it. If I want to stitch on something that I started 3 years ago, I want to pick it up and stitch on it. So, because I have a variety of projects, I have samplers, I have seasonals, I have cute, whimsical, mirabilias, lavender and lace. I have all kinds of stitching that I'm, as you'll see today when I show you these. So, also before I get started, I wanted to thank you guys for all of your comments on my last video. I was celebrating my 3 years, and I just thank you so much for all of the wonderful comments that I got. I loved reading each and every one. I know I can't get back to everyone. I don't remember how many comments I had, but it was just, I talk to you when I'm doing my video, and when you comment, that's you talking back. That's you, saying, hey, I'm working on that whip also. I'm doing that same project. I'm stitching mine on this color of fabric, or I finished that one last year. It's hanging in my home. And if I can see it on Instagram or on Facebook, it I like to see what you guys are working on also. I like this to be a two-way conversation as much as it can be. I know it's, me talking to my, I'm actually filming on my iPad. So I'm talking to my iPad in my crafting room, in my basement of my house. And but I know that you guys are going to be watching this. And that, so I am talking to you, and I like it when I get comments back. So I do want to, I really, really appreciate them. I'm sorry I don't always get back to every single comment that you guys leave for me, but I try my best to, and I read each and every one, and I will leave a heart on your comments. No, and to let you know that I saw it and I loved it, and thank you so much. So, why was I gone for so long? Let me just recap really quickly, and then I want to start getting into all of the progress that I have here, all of the goodies to show you. So, and I had told you in my previous video that I was going to be having company. First of all, I had my son-in-law. He came towards the last week of May. So my last video, I think, was at the very first of May, I believe. So, 2 or 3 weeks later, I had company. So I had him here. He came and he stayed with us for a week. And the day he was leaving, the night before he was leaving, my mom and her husband showed up because they were moving here. I had told you guys, if you've watched my previous videos, that my mom and her husband were moving here from Florida. They're coming back up to Virginia, or at least my mom was coming back to Virginia. Her husband, Dwayne, has never lived in Virginia, so this is going to be a new experience for him to live here. But they are just living 3 blocks away from me, so they were staying with us for, a good couple of weeks. At the end, very last of May through the middle of June, they were with us while they were waiting for their household furnishings to arrive, because I guess the movers had to coordinate to get the stuff here, whatever. It took a while. I was like, this is ridiculous that you have to wait so long for your furniture. But they had to wait a couple of weeks, I think about 12 days it took before the furniture arrived. And then, of course, there was a few more days, 4 or 5 more days for them to kind of get their house settled enough, bed set up, kitchen dishes unpacked, things like that, so that they could actually stay at their house. So they were staying with us, and we were helping them get their furnishings kind of together at their home. So I was busy with that, so I didn't really get much stitching done those 3 weeks at all. And then I think, like if they were out running an errand or something and I was just staying home, I had maybe a couple hours I could stitch here or there. And that's, for those 3 weeks, I did hardly get anything done. And then I've also been taking my mom to her doctor's appointments. She's having a little bit of a heart issue where she's had to find herself a cardiologist here. So I had a girlfriend that works in the medical field, and she directed me to a really good cardiologist in the area. And my mom I've taken her so far 2 times. Last time they ran a procedure on her, a test, to see about something that maybe they possibly can do for her. So I've taken my mom a couple of times to the doctors, and while they were all here, I broke a tooth. My molar down here on the bottom, I was eating a quiche of all things, so it must have really been already really severely cracked, because my quiche was egg and cheese quiche. There's nothing hard in it, but I bit into something hard, and I thought, what is that? And I spit it out, and it was part of my tooth. So I've been to the dentist 3 times, first for a consult, so he could look at the broken tooth, see what needed to be done with it. Needed a crown, so then I was scheduled in a couple days later, to get a temporary crown, to get fitted for the crown, get all the work done to get that done. And then 3 weeks later, they called and said my permanent crown was in, and I had to get that put in place. So I've been back and forth to the dentist myself 3 times. I've been to the doctor for a regular checkup. Then I think in the process of moving things around or doing stuff, I hurt my ribs. I think I pulled a muscle down on my rib cage because it was hurting for me. I was getting ready to do a video last week, and I thought, I can't hardly draw a breath. I don't know how I'm going to be able to sit and talk and lift things. It hurt to move my arms, and so now it's a lot better. It still hurts just a tiny bit, but not like sharp, severe pains like it was before. So I can deal with it now. And so it's on the mend. So I fixed my tooth. My ribs are on the mend. I think I had a migraine one day. We had a severe storm come through here and it just set off a bad migraine. So every time I thought I was getting ready to film a video, something was coming up. After I got my mom settled in her house, it was just like, and then on top of every regular thing I do, take the dogs to the groomers, clean house, do laundry, go grocery shopping, cook dinner. On top of all of my regular things, I had all of that going on. Also, 4 birthdays. I told you too before in a previous video, summer is our birthday season here, evidently, in the family. Both of my daughters were born in the summertime, and all of their children, all 5 of my grandchildren, are born in the summer. So between May and August, it is just birthday. It's like 2, 3 a month till summer's done. So I have already had 4 birthdays since I last checked in with you guys. My oldest grandson turned 16. My youngest granddaughter turned 6. My younger daughter turned 36. And my youngest grandson turned 10. And now I'm getting ready for my oldest granddaughter. She will be turning 15 in about a week and a half, a couple of weeks. So, and then I still have my middle grandson, my older daughter. They're both born in August. So birthdays. And also my anniversary. I had my 10th wedding anniversary to my husband. So we didn't get to celebrate too much because he went to Florida to go see his dad for his dad's birthday and Father's Day. His dad's birthday is in the middle of June, so it falls right around Father's Day. And when he came back, he had caught a nasty cold, probably on the flight. You know how that goes. Because he was flying in and out of Miami, Florida, to go see his dad. So he came back, he had a nasty cold. We were dealing with that. I kept feeling like I was trying to come down with it, but I never did fully come down with the cold he had. He fought that thing for probably 10 days. It took him a while to shake that one. So we're finally healthy. Company is settled into their homes. Some of the birthdays have been done. My tooth is fixed. So I digress. Let me go and get into all the good stuff that I want to show you guys. So I don't bore you too much with all my excuses for not being back here sooner for you guys. So first thing I want to show you is my FFOs. I took 3 things to the frame to be framed. I took them to Hobby Lobby. And the lady there, I forgot her name. She is so good. She was really great at helping me pick out the frames, and one piece is matted, and just really good at what she did. And she took her time and put a lot of care into framing my pieces, and I'm very pleased with them. So the first one I'm going to show you is a patriotic piece, and I did put this up on my Instagram. My Instagram is _Virginia_Stitcher and that's it. That's an email. So if you want to see, I don't post on there a whole lot. I'm trying to get better. But if you do want to see some things that I post on Instagram, that's where I am on Instagram. So this is called Summer Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. And I finished this 2 years ago at StitchCon. So I finished this at StitchCon in 2022. And I started out putting this on like a neutral piece of fabric, but I felt like my white horse wasn't popping off of the material like I wanted him to. So I started it again after I probably had a few stitches. I probably had about this much of him done, and thought that he's not really showing up really well, and I want him to show up a lot better. So I picked this piece of fabric. This is a piece of 16 count Aida in the color Country French Rain that I probably purchased off a 1-2-3 stitch back. And I had started this probably in 2021 and finished it in June of 2022. So let me bring it in closer. I don't have the chart. I gave it away to a young lady at StitchCon. She was looking over and she said, "Oh, I love that piece. I want to stitch that myself one day." And I said, "Do you have the pattern?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, when I finish this, if I get this finished here, you can have it." So I gave her my pattern. And So I don't have the pattern for this one because I don't plan on restitching it. I enjoyed it, but I think stitching this once was enough for me because I have so many pieces to get to. So this is Plum Street Samplers Summer Delivery. I stitched it with, I'm pretty sure I did all of the called for colors for this one. I think they're I think I might have used all the DMC. Because I remember thinking these two colors here look so close together, but once I started stitching it, you could see the pattern in the lamb and the sheep. So so I'm quite pleased with this. My framing that I picked out has a little gold fillet, and then I like the detailing on the frame. So I am very, very pleased. Did not put glass in it, and I did not want to mat it, because this is just going to be a piece that sits out. It's sitting out right now in on my dining room cabinet upstairs. So I had to go get it today so I could show it to you guys, because I have had it on display for the last couple of weeks. So let me see if I can set that over there without knocking it off the table. The second piece is a Prairie Schooler. This is one that I finished, let me see, when did I finish this one? In 2021. And I had started it, I think, in 2020. No, 2023 is when I finished it. Because I think I started this probably early 2021. And it is a Prairie Schooler Village. This one is stitched on a 16 count piece of Aida also, with all of the called for DMCs. And I do not remember the color name of this Aida. I want to say it's dirty or amber. But it's one of the colors that I like to choose sometimes with the Aidas that to make the whites pop. Because I wanted to make sure that you could see all of the detailing in all of the houses. And the little duck. See the little duck up here? So let me bring it in closer. So this is the Prairie Schooler Village. And my frame I picked has kind of a different tone on tone. A little bit of a goldish, almost like a rubbed bronze on the inside of the frame. And it's a little rustic looking, and that's what I wanted because this is kind of a rustic looking piece. And I did not put glass in this one either. Oh, I have a puppy on the floor. Don't want to disturb her. She's sleeping right under my feet. So hold on for a second. I'm going to throw these down here. Well, not throw, but set nicely. And the third piece I did have put in glass. This is a piece I started way back in probably the very, very early 2000s because I finished it in 2003. I believe it was from a leisure art leaflet that I picked up in one of the hobby stores. And I stitched it on just a piece of, it looks like off-white, probably like antique white Aida, 16, probably 18 count Aida. And I did glass this one and matte this one. And this one I think it's just a hydrangea picture. And this is it right here. So this one does have glass, so I'm going to try not to get the glare. So I went back and forth with what color matting I wanted for this piece, because I could pick this color. There was a couple of blue colors, another darker purple, and I finally settled on this one. This one took a little while to figure out how I wanted to frame it. And I did tell her, the framer, that I wanted this to be framed right up to the edge. Because what this is supposed to look like is that this bench that this flower and hat are sitting on are just kind of faded into the background, and they kind of just end. It just kind of ends there. It doesn't continue all the way to the edge. So I wanted it to be framed that way. And like I said, this was stitched way back, finished in 2003. And I believe it was from a leisure art leaflet. Sorry, I don't have more information on it, but I thought it was too pretty not to share. And I'll bring it in closer if I can not have the glare on it. So this is the frame that was picked out. It's kind of a dark, dark interior, and then just a nice, rich wood. And I know you've seen the reflections of it in my iPad. But there is my finish from 2003. I finally framed this piece. Like I said, I finished this so long ago. So the leaflet probably dates around 2000 in the 90s. Who knows? But love it. So pretty. So, so pretty. So happy with it. Now I'm going to get these hung up somewhere. See if I can just put this down by my feet. Excuse me while I'm out of frame for a second. I just don't want to throw them on the floor. So those were my 3 FFOs, and I was so happy to get those back. So now I'm going to show you I had 4 pieces over the last 2 months that I worked on that were in my WIP pile, not new starts. So I thought I'd show those really quick. On my last video that was, like I said, back in the 1st of May, I think it was, I was telling you, whoops, those aren't it, that I wanted to get some more work on this patriotic piece by Plum Street Samplers. Let me see if I can find the, I have my 2 other pieces in here. Where is the picture for this one? Oh my goodness. That's when you think you're, because I have the other 2 in here. I have the Heritage and the Equality sampler, but neither 2 of these are the ones that I'm working on. Where's the picture for the one I'm working on? I know I had to put it back in here. Oh, here we go. This one is by Plum Street Samplers, and this one is a new constellation. Looks like this. So this is something I had already started a couple of years ago, and I really needed to get some more work on it. So I did pull it out, and I was working on it right around that June 14th time frame. I think I worked on it just for an evening or 2, not super, super long. And this is being stitched on a piece of, I think it's 32 count, or is it 28? No, 28 count Lugana in the color Sand. If I picture this plus. And I am using, I think I'm using all the called for threads for this one. And here we are. So I showed this last time, and I had already had everything done except what I stitched in these 2, not this, well, I stitched this bunting all the way across here, started here on this little ocean scene, and did this middle one, the Liberty Bell. So I did do all of that when I pulled it up this last time. So let me see if I can show it up close and let you guys see. So it says, this one has a lot of random 1/1 stitching. The years are stitched in 1/1. So I have the 1777 and the what is that one? 83 for the Liberty Bell. And then I started on the water and the ships down here. And like I said, I did all the bunting across. And that was just a couple of evenings watching TV, stitching on this one. So that's how far I got on that one. And then my next piece, I was like, I really have been thinking about this lady, wanting to get her some more work on her, because I have started some more big girls, and I thought I can't just I don't want to ignore her. You know, I don't want her just sitting there crying on the sidelines because I'm starting other beautiful ladies and I'm leaving her all alone. And that is my Hands Across the Sea, Elizabeth Weston. And she looks like this. It's Elizabeth Weston circa 1830. And when I had started it, I started my usual upper left-hand corner. That's what I did. But I was working down in here when I picked it up this time. This one is being stitched on a piece of 32 count Lugana in the color Stone Gray. And I am using the DMC conversion. She does use silks, but she also has a DMC version. This one I might have to stand up and back up to show. See if I got her right side up. So here she is. She is a big girl. And like I said, I was stitching down. Let me see if I can get a hold of it. I did this flower, this leaf, brought this border down some and worked here on this tree trunk and starting the groundwork down here for this section. So that is what I worked on this last time, because on that tree trunk is a bird. That is a pink bird that is on this tree trunk. So I was working right in here. I did this flower and I worked in here. So that's what I still have left to do there. But that tree trunk, I think I worked on this for 5 days, you know, on top of other things I was doing, just wasn't stitching all day. But when I did have time to stitch on those 5 days, I was pulling it up and I was working on this. This was sitting in my floor stand here in my craft room, and I would work on it every evening, every day when I had some time. And actually I just set her aside to do a new start just the other day. So I was working on her as soon as just day before yesterday. So this is my Elizabeth Weston. And so far it is all regular stitching except for the 1/1 wording at the top. There is a sentiment in the top up here, and that's in 1/1 stitching. But the rest is all regular cross stitches so far. So I don't think there's a lot of specialty stitches in this one. But she is a big girl. And like I said, that's 32 count Lugana in the color Stone Gray. And I started her, not this year for my birthday, but last year in 2020. Was it 2022 for my birthday or 2021? I think it was 2022. I don't know. The years start melding together. So, but love this one. It's beautiful. It's fun to work on. I love their charts. Hands Across the Sea does some really beautiful charts. They're big, they're colored, they're easy to read, very, very easy to read. This next one that was in my whip pile that I worked on for just a little while, I didn't work on it for very long, is by Crocetta Go-Go. And it is Spring in the Village, Primavera and Cynthia. And I had started it last year and just had a little bit down here in the bottom left corner. I am stitching this one on, it looks like a taupe. Is that? Yep. 32 count Lugana in the color taupe. And I am using a mixture of some DMCs and threads that I picked out of my stash. So I'm not using the called for. And this is on a big piece of fabric right now. I don't believe I'm going to need all of this fabric. I just haven't cut it yet. So let me fold it down, and that's where I am. So I was working on the flower shop down in the bottom corner. And this was in the middle of, I think it was right before my company came. So I think I pulled it up and I worked on it just for like a day or so, and then I had to set it aside. And then I ended up working on something else. But I think I started filling in this side. I think I got all of this framed in, did this whole window over here. I only had a very little bit. I think I had the one window and a little bit of grass. So the rest I put in recently. Very cute and whimsical piece. All the little bunnies. Very spring. So that was what I worked on there. And then I had one more that I had pulled up and was working on not too long ago, just like a week ago. And put a few more stitches in because I was starting to feel like I wanted to start. I'm trying to do a little bit of Christmas in July stitching. I'm not just permanent. It's not what I'm only doing. I'm doing a lot. I've been starting a lot of samplers. So not just doing Christmas stuff, but I did pull up this old whip by Little House Needleworks. Let's see if I can find the cover page. Here we go. It is Little House, right? Yeah, Little House Needleworks, called Kringles. And I have been working up at the top And where I was working is on the roof up there. I'm stitching this one on a 16 count piece of Aida, because this is one that I think I started back in 2021 when I pretty much was still just stitching on Aida. And this is the color Amber, 16 count Aida. And I am using all of the called for DMCs. Yeah, well, and they have classic color work. And I think I have all the classic color works also. So I was working on the roof here. So let me fold it. I folded it down. So where I was I had the roof done up to here. So I basically did this here. So a couple of evenings I was stitching on that. So I already had all that brickwork done. Had this one window pretty much filled in. I have a little bit of Krynic stitching and French knots for the eyes, but I might put beads instead of French knots. Not sure. But that is where this piece is. So I got all of this pretty much done on the rest of the roof. Now I just I need to start working on shingles. Putting the shingles in. And I did switch. This was this color here for the fencing and around the windows, and even around there's a border around the windows here that are ecru, or the classic colorworks was eggshell, but I wanted brighter to show up more for the snow, so I changed my snow to regular white DMC so that it would be whiter and show up more. And I think I also changed the little girl's dress to a white and these trees up here and stuff, so they would show up better. But this stitching that is the called for eggshell or ecru, I'm using ecru. So that's where I got on those 4 that I already had in my whip pile that needed some more love, that I was thinking about, and I thought, you know what, I want to pull those up and work on them some more. I can't remember, I think I was watching a Flosstuber that was showing their progress. It might have been Nerissa from Nerissa's Stitching Lifestyle. She was showing where she was working on crinkles. I'm pretty sure it was her. And I thought, you know what? I need to get mine out and work on it some more because I haven't touched it in probably a year. So that needed some love. Now, we are ready to move on to the 31 new starts that I have started so far this year. So here we go. And I put these in chronological order. And I have my little cheat sheets here that show when I started what days I worked on it. So this first one I started on New Year's Day. It was a New Year's Day start with my friends Cindy and Paula, because I don't think Madeline's doing this one. But Cindy and Paula are for sure. And this one is by Plum Street Samplers, and it's called This Is the Day. Love it, love it, love it. But there are some white stitching in here. I don't know if it's white or just off-white. It's probably ecru or grits. That is hard to see. Even in the picture, there's a goat up there and over here, but you can't hardly see them. And I wanted to be able to see mine better, and I didn't want to do too dark of a piece of fabric, so I changed my fabric to what color is this? I think it's a Be Stitch Me 28 count Lugana, no, in the color Glacier by Picture This Plus. So I did have to switch a couple of colors out. So this is the day. And this is how far I got on this one so far. This was my new start for January 1st this year. So my first new start this year. So I did switch the colors that were for here, for the border banding. I can't remember what colors they had, but the blue color that they had really blended in with my blue fabric. And I switched that same blue that's up there I switched for the door in the house. Other than that, I think I am pretty much stitching with the called for colors, but I did need to switch those. So this was start number 1, and I think it is adorable. That brick house is fun, but it is no joke. It takes a while. So I only got that far on it so far. But I've got all of the bones, I've got the windows and the door in. So now I can just go in and just get busy doing brickwork. And that's what I was doing over here. So and then I think I wanted to come in and do the roof. So I stopped on the brickwork and did the roof. Made sure I got all of the bones in here. Now, like I said, I can just brick away, start my brick and mortar. So that's where I am on that one. And Paula's already finished it. I think she finished it within a couple of weeks because Paula's a monogamous stitcher and she just stitches away and gets things done quickly. And I knew she would. I said, well, you might see mine finished quite a while down the road, but having fun working on it when I pull it out. This next piece was started on January 6th. So I worked on, this is the day for a few days, and then I switched over and started this new start on January 6th. And this is by the Scarlet House, and it's called A Sampler for All Seasons. Let me see. The fabric I am doing this on is 32 count flax Belfast linen. And here's what it looks like, the pattern. A Sampler for All Seasons by the Scarlet House. And I started up here in the upper left-hand corner. And like I said, this is flax Belfast linen, 28 or 32? 32 count. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing all the called for colors. Oops, I have a nested thread there. So I got the first block partially done. That is it. That's all I got done on this one because I worked on this one for, well, actually it says I worked on it for 5 days. But that's 5 days of when I could sit and stitch. So this was a January start. So this was my new start number 2. So I have my fabric, cut to piece so that I can do all 4 seasons on there. And love it, enjoying it. Love this flax linen. It's nice linen. Very nice. So the next piece that I started was actually a restart. I didn't like the thread I was using for the first time I was stitching on this piece. And this piece is by GGR. And it is the letter V for Vicky. Couldn't find the letter U because I would have done it for my last name, but so the letter V by GGR. Brenda Handwork Maniac is working on the B by GGR. And I started in the upper left-hand corner, so I'm just up in here working on this one. I had decided to stitch this one with this variegated, where's the rest of it? Why do I not have it in the bag? Oh, it's in the, right there. I have several skeins of it. But this is DMC 121. I just have it, the piece I'm working with, in a floss away bag. That's what's left of the skein I was working with. And I am stitching this on a piece of Silvery Moon, 32 count Lugana. That's going to be quite a large piece. This is where I am so far on this one. And I've got threads hanging from my raggedy edge there, sorry. So I have a few of the motifs done. I got at least 2 of the V's in there. And I love the variegation in this thread. Like I said, this is DMC 121. It's one of their blue variegated threads. And this fabric is like a super, super light gray fabric. Just a hint of gray, bluish gray. So that's where I am on that one. And I have done just these up here. So I finished right in here. So I still have all of that to go. This is not stitched. This gingham looking, that's just a piece of material border or something like that they put for the picture. But love it. And I haven't had a chance to pick it back up and work on it anymore. But I did work on this one for supposedly 5 days, is what I have marked down on my sheet here. So that's what I did for that one. And then my next new start is by Shannon Christine Designs. It's called Winter Snowfall. And I'm doing this one on a piece of dark cobblestone 32 count Lagana. And it looks like this. It's called Winter Snowfall by Shannon Christine. And she has several different color conversions that you can do. Most of it is predominantly white stitching, but the color splashes in it, she has several different color combos that you can use for it. But I think I might have picked my own 2 colors. And I am using, of course, white. I'm using B5200 for the white. But I'm also using 2 DMC colors, 3760 and 3761. So these are my colors. And I'm stitching it on this dark cobblestone. And I got, when did I start this one? I started this one on January 15th of this year. I didn't get very far. So I have that much done. I wanted to be able to count down and try to see how the color was looking on the fabric. So I do have that much of the white design at the top. And then I went down and did the first little tree. And that is it. That is as much as I got done so far. But I'm loving it on this dark cobblestone. Look how much that white is really gonna pop off of this dark fabric. Love it. Love it, love it. So like I said, 3760, 3761, and B5200, and this is dark cobblestone, 32 count Lagana that I am stitching it on. And I only got to work on it 2 days, so not very much stitching in that one yet. I kind of contemplated, do I want to make that my snow stitching, but we don't get a whole lot of snow, so it might have to be like winter precipitation stitching. Okay, and then the next one, I'm actually going to show both of these that are in here. So one of them will be shown out of order. But it is Winter by the Cricket Collection. This is the next one that I started. I started this on the 17th of January. It looks like this. And I am stitching this one on, is this the piece of fabric for it? Yeah. I am stitching this one on, not real sure. I think this was a Jody fabric or something. Yeah, it is. It's a 28 count Lagana, and all it has is a little tag that just says it's a 28 count Lagana. I picked this up at StitchCon a couple of years ago, and I think it's a Jody Favish from Still City Stitchers. She does her dyeing but doesn't name her pieces. My goal was to try to get the first 3 letters done in this, and then I would pretty much get most of that done so that I would just have the last 3 letters. But I didn't quite get all of the first 3 done. And then there's a big snowman that sits right in here in the middle of the N. So I got that much done on it. And I am using the called for DMCs, and they use quite a bit of DMCs. So I'm just pulling from my master list. Kind of can't show you real well, but that's the master list down there. Quite a bit for this small of a piece, but it comes out looking gorgeous because it's just intricately colored piece. So the one I'm going to show you out of order is that then in the spring, I started this spring piece in this collection because I have all 4 of these. So for the spring by Cricket Collection, Cross-Eyed Cricket. Look, oh, nope, that's summer. I already have summer started last year. Oh, here we go. Spring. Had have them all in the same bag. So here's spring, and I picked a light green fabric for this one. I think this is probably supposed to be a green fabric, but it's showing up very yellow in the picture. So it's probably a yellowy green that they picked for theirs. But I am stitching mine on just a piece of, I think it's just light green Lugana. Just green Lugana, 32 count, or 28. I think it might be 28, so they're all the same size. And I got started on the S. That's it. That's all I did on this one. Didn't work too long. Like I said, some of my new starts aren't going to have a whole lot of progress, and then you're going to see some that have a decent amount of, a decent start at least for a start. Yeah, because the other one I have done in here, I didn't do it this year. I already had it done from the year before, was summer. I started on summer, and I got that far on summer. Because I want to say, are summer and winter on the same fabric? I think they might be. I think it's, I cut it in half. So that wasn't a new start for this year, but it's in the bag. That was, so the only one I have left to start, and my plan is to maybe start it this fall, is the Autumn by Cricut Collection. So, and I have a piece of fabric already picked out for that, and it's a 28 count Lugana in the color Cinnamon by Be Stitch Me. So I thought I would do Autumn on this cinnamon color. Let's see. So that's in there with that. And perchance that I get to start this one this year also. So let me stick all these back in this bag. Trying to keep, sometimes I try to keep collections together so that I know, like, oh, well, I finished that one of the collection. Here's the next, you know, pick one of the next ones and get working on that. The next new start, I started with Lori Chicalone, and I started this one on, this is my last new start of January. I started it on January 28th of this year. And it's a lavender and lace piece, and it's called Angel of Light. And she had said she wanted to start this one, and I said, oh, please, can I start this with you? And I want to stitch this in honor of your sweet little angel, Libby, her granddaughter that didn't quite make it to her first birthday. And so she said, oh, absolutely. She would be happy for me to stitch along with her. So we started along. She started up at the head, and she's got most of this. So that's Lori Chicalone with Once Upon a Stitch is her Flosstube channel. And she's stitching this same little angel. Mine is being stitched on a piece of 32 count Lugana in the color taupe. I am using the called for DMCs for this one. And she started here, I started over here. So I counted off from one of these, I think it was this middle one right here. This middle like edge, flowy edge of her cape. And I'm working in here. So, let's see, I think mine goes this way. So it's 32 count Lugana in the color taupe. I'll get the fabric folded in half. Oh, well, it's kind of a middle, like a, so there's where I am on this one. It's got some beautiful colors in it. So this is how far I made it. And I worked on it the 4 days at the end of, the last 4 days in January of this year. So that was 4 days worth of progress on this one. And I have the sister piece to this one. She is the Angel of Freedom? Who is she? That's the Angel of Light. And I also have the Angel of, yeah, Angel of Freedom. So she's facing the other direction. She's the same size, basic, same style, just some different colors. This one's a blonde, she's a brunette. She has a more of a blue dress. She has more of a green. So I have them both in this same fancy bag here. with another piece of taupe so that she can be on the same fabric as her sister. So I have all of that in this bag. Let me see if I can get this in here and put away. So now we're up to February. Things I started in the month of February this year. So the first thing I started in February was Cinderella by Mirabilia. I started her on February 2nd. And she's in another fancy bag. Using my lavender and lace. Right now, my lavender and lace and Mirabilias, I'm putting them in plastic bags, and then they're all stored in big, like plastic satchel containers. Because I only have so many project bags to go around. So this is Cinderella by Mirabilia. This one is an older chart. This one is, let me see if I can see when she came out. What is her copyright? Well, she originally came out in 2003 and then was reprinted, re-brought out in 2013. And I started up here because I figured if I get the castle done, then I can come down here and start working in her dress, be able to count down to her. And I'm using a piece of Picture This Plus Lugana. Oops, these go in that other. I always forget the name of this one. This one is a 32 count piece of Lugana. Do I still have the tag on it? I always forget what this one's called. Oh, shoot. What is this one? Let's see if I have it on here. No, I don't. So if the tag is not on the fabric, then, which it should be, because they usually come with like a sticker, and if I take the sticker off, I stick it somewhere into my project, you know, a copy of the color key or something, but nope, I have no idea, I'm sorry. It's this really colorful, splotchy one, and I didn't get very far on it. I just started up, this is some of the border, and then started into some of the trees that are around the castle. So some of that green stitching there. Oh, wait, the sticker is on it. Here we go. It says 28 count Lugana in the color Diamacel by Picture This Plus. And I had another piece of Diamacel before, and it was not as heavily modeled as this one. And so I thought, okay, well, and it was very soft, but had these colors in it, this light greens and purples and blue. And I thought, oh, I'll get it and I'll use it I was going to use it for a different Mirabilia. And then I thought, no, it's not going to really work because it's too modeled, but I thought it should work for Cinderella. So I'm doing Cinderella on this piece of fabric. I was like, even though a piece of fabric, I might order it in, may not work for the piece that I originally wanted it for, because I get it in and I see that it's too light, too dark, different kind of blue or red or whatever than it looked like to me online. I set it aside because I'm like, I know there's going to be something. There will be a project that will work perfectly for. And I just have to find that project. And so that's why I started Cinderella. I was like, oh, she will look gorgeous, because I was thinking kind of those splotches just in through here will look kind of interesting. Because there's not a whole lot of background. She takes up most of the space in the design. That and the castle in the background. Trying not to make a whole lot of noise here. So my next start in February was Every Opening Flower by Brenda Gervais. And this one is still on a Q-snap because I keep thinking I'm going to get more time to stitch on this one, and I end up pulling other things, and I haven't. Because I love it. I think it's beautiful every time I see somebody that's working on it, because somebody just finished it. Tara Sullivan from Sully Stitches, maybe? I don't know. somebody just finished this. And I was thinking, oh, and maybe it was Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilt, or both of them. But this is Every Opening Flower by Brenda Gervais. This one's a fairly new piece. I think maybe last year came out. Might be a 2023, 2022 at the latest. 2022. It was a 2022 release from Brenda Gervais from With Thy Needle and Thread. And I am stitching this one on, what is this? 32 Count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. And it's still on the Q-snap because I keep thinking I'm going to still stitch on it because that's all I have. And I want more. So, beautiful, beautiful piece. So, that's where I am on Every Opening Flower. So, that was how far I got on that one. Let me set her down there nicely. So, my stuff back in the bag. And I'm pretty sure I'm using all the called fors. Yeah. The called for colors. Nice and soft. Muted colors. Pretty colors. Okay. The next one that I started was on February 14th. And it's not a Valentine piece, but I started on February 14th. Go figure. And this one is called Pretty Bird. I'll take it out of the bag. By the Artsy Housewife. And it looks like this. Look at that pretty bird. Didn't get to the bird yet. I started up at the top. So I am stitching this one on. It's like a piece of linen. This piece of linen I got at in Stitches in Alexandria, Virginia. It's called Winter Woolens by Seraphim. 32 count linen. Winter Woolens by Seraphim Fabrics. And let me fold this in half. Turn it around so it's right side up. And that's the progress. I still have a hanging thread. The last time I was working on this was at a retreat that I went to in March. Crafting retreat with some girlfriends. So that's it. But look, I got the one flower done, the one big flower. And I have some of those hanging down, kind of like berries or flower buds. So I still have one more big flower. I've got this one done and some of this. So I have one more big flower to do here and then get down to this pretty bird. So that's where I am on Pretty Bird. Love this Winter Woolens. This was a piece that was cut off of the piece that I'm using for, I think it's called Harvest Friends by Teresa Kogut. And then there was still enough left over that I could use it for this piece. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty for the pretty bird. And it's in my fancy bag here. I haven't put this one in any kind of... I have material to make project bags when I can get around to making project bags. I'm retired. Like they always say, you retire, you think you're going to have all of this extra time. People always go, what are you going to do when you retire? Oh my gosh. I kept looking at them like, are you insane? I have all kinds of stuff I want to do when I retire. I am not going to be bored for 1 second. And you know what? I have not been. So there you go. This one I must be using all of the called for. It is by Blackbird Designs. And I started this on February 27th. Oh, this was a leap year. Leap day kind of like piece that I want to try to see if I can have finished in 4 years at the next leap day. And it's Little Birds by Blackbird Designs, because this is a fairly large sampler by them. And I am stitching mine on a piece of linen. What is the color? Did I put it in the... Sometimes I stick it down somewhere. The label that comes on them. Oh, here we go. 32 count light mocha Belfast linen. And I am using the called for not DMC's, Classic Color Works, Weeks Dye Works. I think that's it. I don't think there are any Gentle Arts. But the overdyed cotton threads. And like I said, this is light mocha, Belfast linen. So it's a 28 count, a 32 count. And I worked on it, I think I must have worked on it a little bit since it was the last day in February. I must have worked on it a little bit into March. Because I can't believe I got all this done in one day. As much time as I've had to stitch lately. But there I am. Sorry it took so long to get that folded. So 32 count light mocha Belfast linen with the called for threads. And this is Little Birds by Blackbird Designs. That's how far I got on that one. That new start. This is beautiful linen too, this one. It's not an overdyed linen, it's just a regular linen. I don't know if it's a Zweigart. Well, it's a Zweigart, yeah, it's like a Zweigart linen. So that was the last start in February. So now we're into March. And I only started 3 new things in March. Yeah, I did work on Pretty Bird for 4 more days into March. I knew that couldn't have been 1 day of stitching. Not for me. I'm not that fast of a stitcher. So the next new start, I did not start until actually March 23rd. So I did work on some things I already had in the go. At the beginning of that month. I guess I, was really feeling like working on some of my things I already had going. But this one is a Teresa Kogut, one of her new releases that she came out with in March. And I started this on March 23rd. And it's called Serenity. So it's one of her brand new market releases. Looks like this. And I started in the upper left-hand corner. And I am stitching this one on a Lugana. What Lugana is this? Just stick it on my piece of paper. It's probably on it. Looks like it's probably a 32 count Lugana. Maybe wheat or platinum. Let me see if I can find. That would be my best guess. Yeah. It looks like platinum Lugana to me. 32 count. And it is this far so far. So this is where I got to. Oh, it's like a little piece of fuzz or something hanging there. Let's see if I can get it closer. And pull it back so you can see the real colors. I really love this piece. This was the market release piece that when I saw it, I thought, I definitely need that one and I need to get it started. So if it came out in March and I started it in March, as soon as I got it started. But I'm not positive on what color fabric, but I want to say that's platinum. And like I said, I just was working up in here. So I did not get very, very far on that one. And this is one that it has been calling to me to work on some more. Because I do love it so much. But I love so many of my pieces. It's like I have a gazillion children and I love each and every one. And I want to spend time with each and every one. Oh my goodness. The next new start was Tonight We Ride, and I started it on the same day, March 23rd. I don't know why I started 2 on this same day. I must have, or I think what it was is I might have started this one. Oh. And then got that chart in the mail I forgot who I ordered it through. I can't remember what company, which supplier I ordered it from, but I probably got it in the mail and said, oh, I need to start that now. And so I started both of these on the same day. This is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Oh, I'm not going to take it out of the plastic because I'm having an issue. I picked this up at Liberty Hill Needleworks when I went down there. It's in Williamsburg, Virginia. So I saw this chart down there and loved it. And I found a piece of fabric, not the called for fabric. I picked up a piece of 28 count linen in the color Rustic Charm by Seraphim Fabrics. And I started hearing of this witch. So this is Rustic Charm linen by Seraphim. And I worked on this for a few days and I got pretty much this witch done. The biggest witch. So this is my fabric that I chose. There, that's true to color right there. Not where it's showing through the window, but right there. And I got started on the moon. There's a big full moon. And somebody has a lot done on this one. But I can't remember who it was. Where they had already, because if I knew, I could tell you, they already worked a lot down in here. They got like all of this done. And I was like, oh, gorgeous. So I know this fall I'm going to want to work on this one some more if I get a chance. And it's just in a little zippy bag for now. The next new start is by Nerissa also. It's another one of her releases from Market that I really fell in love with. And it's And God Saw. This one is really fun to stitch on. Love Nerissa patterns. She's just so talented. This one is on a piece of linen. Let me see what color it is. It's another linen that I picked up at Liberty Hill Needleworks, and this one is by Bee Stitch Me. It's a 28 count linen in the color One More Reproduction. So this is an overdyed linen, and I am using all of the called for threads. I think a lot of times Nerissa Kogut usually uses mostly DMCs, and then she'll throw in a few overdyes. No, and I am just switching these two colors. So for DMC 841, I'm using DMC 7. And for DMC 842, I'm using 6. But other than that, I'm using all of the called for. On this beautiful piece of linen by Brandy from Bee Stitch Me. Let me see if I can get this. I think it'll all fit on the one half. And that's how far I got on this one. When I went in April to Ocean City to my retreat there, I worked on this some more there a little bit. So I got a decent amount started on this one because I think when I got it started, I just did some of this sawtooth border and had like this flower in. And then I took it and I worked some more. Got the bird. He's missing his beak and eye stitching, but then I started working some more on some of the groundwork for the sampler. And that's true to color back here. A lot of times when I hold it up really close, because my light is right here, right above, kind of in this area, shining towards me, but super bright there. And I think the camera light too starts washing it out if you get too close. But love it. Love it. And this fabric is gorgeous. One More Reproduction by Bee Stitch Me. And I think that was my last new start in March. So now we're into April new starts. I'm almost done with the ones I have over here, and then I have a whole 4-foot table full of more. And we are an hour in, so it's going to be a little while. So in April, I started, it's like 7 things in April. And the first thing that I started in April was on April 1st. I started Comfort Lighthouse by Kathy Barrick, or Carriage House Samplings. Looks like this. And I started over here with the lighthouse. And I am stitching this one on a piece of Lugana. I think it's a Bee Stitch Me. Yes, 27 count Lugana by Bee Stitch Me in the color Coconut Shell. And I've got a decent amount done on this one. Wow, thought I had more. Oh wait, it's because I got to unfold it. And so I got the lighthouse finished and the bird that's in front of it and a couple of the stars. I was thinking of taking this to Ocean City and working on it while I was there, because Maryland is known for their crabs. For their symbol is the crab. And so I thought this big blue crab would be fun to stitch while I was there, but I ended up not getting any stitching done on this one in Ocean City. So all I have is what I got done before I went. And that's where I am on Comfort Lighthouse. In fact, I have a needle minder in there that I don't need to leave in it. Let me, while I am in here, take the needle and the needle minder out. This was just one that I made that has a ship on it. And it was just it's supposed to be like a pendant. You can see where it could hang. And I just stick a magnet on the back. And then I had a little magnet I put with it. But I thought the ship, how cool for this one. Stick it right here out of the way. It doesn't need to be put away with a magnet in it. Okay. I mean, it can, but try not to leave needles too much and things like that in my stitching. Needles, magnets, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, the next new start that I did in April was on April 3rd. I started American Sampler. I was feeling patriotic. And this is by Plum Street Samplers. It looks like this. And this one is, this piece is a nod to the state of Virginia. So I thought, oh, I gotta stitch that one. Because in her description, it talks about the 3 flags represent the 3 presidents that were born in the state of Virginia. And also the quote down under here, the saying under here, comes from the state motto. Our state bird is the cardinal, and there's a cardinal in the tree. I forgot what else. Oh, and the dogwood flowers, because dogwood is our state flower. So it has all of the nods to the state of Virginia. And this one is, I think this was a Teresa Vinette fabric, maybe. Fabric is this one. 28 count Oatmeal Lugana by Shakespeare's Peddler. Let me see where I am here. Oh, and I think Tara Sullivan was stitching on this one, and she's done. She flies through her stitching. But there is my start on American Sampler. So I was in that roof and stopped. So I started down in here. So I've got this little section of the house started, and this grass and stuff down here. And fence and bunting. And that's it. So little ways to go on this one. Fun stitching. Paulette Stewart with Plum Street Samplers. She loves to give you lots of stitching. You know, big houses and grass and things with fill in. Not hard stitching, just lots of stitching. But I think that's what makes her pieces so beautiful. So I am done over here. So now we're on to the other side over here. So this next piece is by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. And it's called the Pink Sparrow Sampler. Looks like this. Hopefully you can see it well enough. Hopefully it's not glaring too badly. And I was inspired to start this one. I've seen some people stitching on it, and then finally, I think I saw Lauren, the New Hampshire stitcher. She finished hers, and I was like, okay, that's it. I got to do this one. This one is being stitched on a piece of ivory Lugana, either 28 or 32 count Lugana. And I picked my own colors. And that's how far I got for my start on this one. So it's the upper left-hand corner start. And that's how far I am on this one. Love it. It's so pretty. It's like a sweet sampler. Just a sweet, pretty one. With all of its pretty colored flowers all through it. And the bird, and then there's a couple little dogs down underneath. Then next, let's see, I started the Pink Sparrow sampler on April 5th. And then on April 8th, I started another Brenda Gervais sampler. And this one's called At Home. And I'm seeing several people stitching on this one. And every time I see people working on this one, it makes me want to get this one back out and work on it some more, because I don't have a whole lot done on mine. But I enjoy it. It's a beautiful, enjoyable stitch. I am stitching mine. Is that a fiber on a whim piece of fabric? What is that? 28 count Lugana, by Atomic Ranch, and it's called Freeze. F-R-I-E-Z-E. Freeze. And I want to say I'm using all the called for threads. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I am. Nice, soft, kind of typical Brenda Gervais colors here, where she has a nice tealy greens and soft colors going along with it. So mine, I did pick it up and work on it again. I think I didn't just work on it as a start. I think this is another one of the pieces that I pulled up some other time, like maybe in May or something, and worked on it some. And when it would have been May, and maybe I didn't work on it some more. But this is where I am. So I did a lower left-hand corner start because I wanted to get over here and get into all of this, which eventually will lead me up to the big house, that big, beautiful house in here. So that's where I am on At Home by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And the true color, this is a very soft, muted fabric. And evidently, I don't need all of it, you know, because when I counted, so I can cut off quite a bit off the bottom down there. I don't need all of that because that's the bottom of my piece. So this looks like it's a half a yard of fabric, a fat half. So I know I don't need the whole thing. I just haven't cut it yet because this one's all nicely serged all the way around. Sometimes when they're all nicely serged, I hate cutting them. Just because then I don't have a serger and I don't serge them. So then they sit there and start unraveling. The next one I started was, where am I? American Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. I started it on April 12th. And I took this with me to Ocean City. That's probably, I started it at Ocean City, actually. Because I was going to say, I think I was in Ocean City on April 12th. And it is American Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. This is one of her new releases. Well, actually, I think it was released, was it one of the Farm Girl gatherings or something like that? And then she released it to the public this year. I didn't get the advanced copy. I don't get out to those retreats. If I went, I would have to fly, and then I'd have to figure out what I could take that I could take flying. And I could fly. I mean, one of these days I'd love to get out to a retreat out that way, but haven't yet. I'm doing this one on a piece of Darling David by Those Missing Stitches. She sells her fabric on Etsy. She also has a Flosstube, I think I just found out. And I worked on it a good bit because I was loving it. And I picked it up and I worked on it some more after I got back home. So that's where I am on American Welcome by Plum Street. And like I said, this is 32 count Lugana in the color Darling David by Those Missing Stitches. I love this fabric so much. It's kind of a yellow mottled, soft yellowy mottled fabric, like sand. I loved it so much, I went and I bought another piece because I know I can use it again on something else because this is really pretty color. Like it. I like it a lot. And I probably, does it say? Yeah, American Welcome. It looks like I worked on it a couple days and I picked it up again a few days later and worked on it a little bit more. So I could get some more on it. But I think I worked on it 2 days at my retreat. And then picked it up and worked on it a couple more days. So the next start is one I wished I could have started at my retreat. Another lady was working on it. One of the other ladies had already finished it. And this is one that Samantha, the Huga Stitcher on Flosstube, has a stitch along called Live in the Sunshine Sal. That's what she's doing. And this is by Leela Studio, and this is Summer Quaker. And I am stitching this one on, I think I bought my fabric at Salty Yarns when I was there. This one is 32 count Colonial Parchment by Bestitch Me linen that I'm stitching this one on. And I was having so much fun with this one. I started this as soon as I got home. I got my chart in and I started it. Oops, you're getting a little reflection from the window. So I went in and I started up here and started that kind of like spoke is what I call it. Did all the way around, did all 4 spokes, and started putting in some of the Quakers and motifs over here and started filling in some of the bottom down there. All of this was my new start. I was loving it so much. I think I worked on this for easily a good week. Probably worked on it for 7 or 8 days. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So that's 5 days. Love it. Mamas, come here, baby. Sometimes she sees somebody out there, so she wants to go out so she can bark in person at the people in their yards or whatever, or walking down the street. Because I know you don't meet out there yet, baby. I let you out right before I started filming. Let's see. Seeking Refuge. Hey, babes. Yeah, stay in here and be quiet. Seeking Refuge was my next new start by the Scarlet House. And I started that on April 17th, which was my birthday. Oh, that's right. This was my birthday start this year. I stuck it in here with A Perfect World. So make sure I get the right one out. Let's see. Seeking Refuge, I've changed some of the colors around a little bit. It looks like. I started this with another lady whose birthday is on April 17th also, Maria. We decided to stitch this together as a birthday start. So I got started on this on April 17th, and I worked on it just a little bit. No, I worked on it good. I worked on it 5 days. 5 evenings. I was working on this 5 evenings, and then during the day, I was working on the Summer Quaker. So I actually got good stitching in that week. Must not have been too busy that week. This looks like a piece of fiber on a whim. Let me see if I can find out what this is. I don't know. Here we go. Is this it? Nope, I didn't. I must be mystery fabric out of my stash. It looks like it's a Lugana for sure. It's not a linen. It's not an Aida. It's an even weave. And this is how far I got. And the color is, it looks like a fiber on a whim, like caramel macchiato or something like that. That's what it looks like to me, but I'm not absolutely positive. And I came in and I was working on, some of these are my own picks of colors. That's how far I got on that, working on it for 5 evenings. So, a lot more to go, but fun. Fun, fun, fun. I think that was my last new start in April. Yes, it was. Because then after that, I was working on some things I already had going in the works and wanted to touch on some of my other stuff. And because I had, what, 1, 2, 3, 7 new starts that month. And then in May, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 new starts in May. And the first one is by Blackbird Designs. It's called Humming of the Bees. And Heidi, Stitching Faye on Flosstube, was working on hers and she finished hers and she showed it. And I said, I really, 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 really want to start on mine. So I got it out and got a start on it on May 20th. I have that written way over. I had written it down because I was going to start it and just didn't get around to starting it till the 20th. That's why it's way up on the list on there. And I am stitching this one on. What is this one stitched on? I'm stitching it with all the called for. Weeks Dye Works and General Arts and Classic Color Works. All the cotton, overdyed cotton threads. Oh, here's the fabric. 32 count light sand Belfast linen. And this was my start. Hopefully that's not see-through. Try to keep it away from the window because this linen is a little see-through, so I knew that window would shine through it too much. Held it over here. So I pretty much, it ends about right up in here, so you're not missing much here. But I got, you know, some of this border done, and I worked my way over so I could start into this really big brick house. And that's how much I got going on there. Fun. I love stitching brick houses, brick and stone houses. I think they're fun. They're fun stitching. So I only got like the bottom part of that house started going, so I still got all that. And of course, all of the motifs and the alphabet and everything. Still got a ways to go on that one. The next new start was Spring by the Cricket Collection, and I already showed that to you while I had the bag out for winter. So after that was 4th of July Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Looks like this. This is one that I picked up and I bought at Salty Yarns when I was there in April. And I wanted to get it out and get it started. Looks like it is on a piece of Lugana. I don't have, I didn't bring, all I brought over was this. It looks to me like a piece of taupe Lugana. Probably either 32 or 28 count. And I'm using all the called for DMCs, and that's how far I got on this one. This one I took and stitched with the ladies from the Ocean City retreat. We were stitching in one of the ladies' houses in Annapolis, Maryland. So I drove up there and spent the day stitching with those lovely ladies. And I think I got 4th of July all done. And then I came home and did Rules. And then I was getting ready to start on the there is a, they call it bunting, patriotic bunting down underneath that. I was getting ready to start on all of that, but that's how far I got. Because I did, the last time I stitched on this was actually, I was sitting in the car while my dogs were being groomed a while back, because they're getting ready to be groomed again. And they get groomed about every 6-7 weeks. So I was, I stitched on that a little bit in the car. So the next start was because when I was at my Ocean City retreat, the lady who heads it up, we were talking, I can't remember, somebody asked me what my unicorn chart was. And I said, well, one of my major unicorns is Queen of Freedom. And one of the ladies there, the lady who heads up the event, she said, I have it. And you can have it. She goes, I have the pattern and I don't think I'm going to get around to stitching it, so you can have it. And I said, are you absolutely serious? Are you, and she said, yeah, you can have it. So when I went to Annapolis to stitch with the lady, she brought it with her, and she brought Queen of Freedom. So that was my next new start, because as soon as I got her, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get started on this beautiful lady. And I actually was just watching Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching, and Pam just started this one on 4th of July. She started up on the head, so she's got some of the hair done. And I think this is a 32 count Lugana in the color Wheat or Taupe. Not sure. And I'm thinking this is the right direction, because all I did was do a center start and start on the stripes in that flag on her lap. So I got some white and red stitching in. So that doesn't look like a whole lot, but that was my start on this one. Because sometimes starting something, you first got to get your piece of fabric the size you need. Make sure you got a big enough piece of fabric. Then you got to get it counted, to where you want to start it. So sometimes the difficult part is getting it started. Once it's started, then you can just start stitching away. So I did get started on that one. That was just so sweet of her to give me this pattern. And because it definitely is one of my unicorns. Or was. Not anymore, because I have it now. So nice of her. So the next new start after Queen of Freedom, oh my Lord, this one is the biggest sampler yet. I was watching Nerissa from Nerissa's Stitching Lifestyle on Flosstube, and I was also previously had watched Lisa, Kindred Stitcher off of Flosstube, finished this one, and now Nerissa's stitching on it. And I couldn't resist it anymore, because I thought, oh, it's another big piece. I don't need another big piece. And I'm like, you gotta have it. You gotta start it. So I ordered this. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler, Ann Dale, 1827, Big and Beautiful. She is 402 by 531 stitches. She is even bigger than Elizabeth Weston. She beats Elizabeth Weston by Hands Across the Sea that I'm working on. She beats her. She's a little bit bigger than her. So thus, I decided I was going to use a 40 count linen in the color Platinum for her. So I started her. She's still in the Q-snap, because I was hoping I could get some more stitching. Now, because she's on 40 count, it's a little bit slower stitching for me. But I still managed to get this much done on her. And so you can see the threads hanging there. And so I'm stitching over one. Usually I stitch over two. But because I'm stitching on 40 count, I'm stitching over one. I mean, not over one. With one thread over two on 40 count. That's what I'm doing. Not over one on 40 count. Over two, but with one thread. Usually I stitch with two threads. On everything else I've shown you is two threads of stitching. And I do the loop start method. I do have to say, I enjoy stitching with two threads. I enjoy 32 count is my sweet spot, and two threads. But I wanted to do her on 40 count because she is so large that I thought she would take up half a wall. And framing her would be totally ridiculous. So I was like, I already have enough large samplers on 32 count. I need to try to do like I'm going to do this one on 40. So I'm doing her on 40 count with the DMCs. I'm not doing the silks. I'm doing DMCs for her. And she has all of this fabric. I mean, it's doubled over in my, that's how I manage these really large pieces of fabric. Showed it before on my videos. I double over my fabric so that it's folded up. And then when it's in my stand, yes, I have this little bit in my lap right now because I'm way up in this upper corner. But that's how I manage these large pieces. Love it, love it, love it. So that's Ann Dale, Big and Beautiful. And I am nowhere as far along as Nerissa is. Nerissa's she's another lady who can get these big samplers just stitched up and done and on her wall. My next new start is by Kathy Barrett. I think it's Kathy Barrett. It's either Kathy Barrett or just Carriage House. I think it's a Kathy Barrett piece. And it is, let's see if I can find him. Frederick. I have Frederica in this bag also that goes with him, but I have the chart showing. I think I have to fold it over to see there he is. Don't want to show you the chart itself, but here's Frederick by Carriage House Samplings. And Heidi from Stitching Faye, she's done Frederica and has Frederick. And she's done Frederica already, and she's done hers on a pink fabric. And it is stunning. Who would ever, I would never guess to do this on pink, but hers is stunning. So she's going to do also, because they're a pair, she's going to do Frederick on the same pink fabric. I did not use pink, although hers is stunning. Instead, mine is on a piece of oatmeal, 16 count oatmeal Aida. So he's very rusticy looking with the DMCs, and this is how far I got. So, and you can see my Nerd hoop marks. I had this one in a Nerd hoop. And I was stitching and watching TV with this one because this one was easy enough for me to see in the other room and everything with it being a 16 count Aida. And it's that rough, rusticy looking oatmeal kind of Aida. And I thought they would look good on this fabric. So that's my start on Frederick. Frederick and Frederica. Is that the last one? No, I have one more new start. Frederick I started on May 20th, and I worked on him for 3 days, 3 evenings, to get some of the border in, and the flower. Work my way over to him and start working on the bird himself. But I started by Teresa Kogut. I started Sweet Land. And let me pull it out of the bag. I picked this one up. I bought this at Salty Yarns. I knew that I wanted to start it this summer. So Sweet Land by Teresa Kogut. And I started at the top, working on the eagles part, the top part. I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count linen in the color Ancient by Picture This Plus. It's 32 count, right? Yes. And here's how far I got on this one. So the eagle does not have feet and a head yet, but the rest of him is finished. And some of the bunting and the border for the top. And that Ancient, I love that color. As soon as I saw him, I knew I wanted this one stitched on Ancient. I Picture This Plus. So pretty. So that was my last new start in May. So I started him around May 24th, and I worked on him for a few days. So I was working on him around Memorial Day weekend. That's what I was doing this one on. And I am using all of the DMCs. Yeah, I don't think there were two Weeks Dye Works, but I don't think I have the Weeks Dye Works in here. I think I was just doing, I'm pretty sure I'm just doing DMCs with that. Okay, and like I said, 2 threads, because everything, 32 count, always 2 threads for me. The first new start in June, so we have a few more. It looks like more than 4 over here, but maybe that's only 4 left. Is Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. This one is being stitched on a 40 count linen. And it's called Ligonier Latte by R&R Reproductions. And I am using the NPI silks for this one. So I put all the silks in bags. I got these from Hillside Rookery back a few months ago. I think towards the end of last year. And knew I wanted to start this one this year because she was having she gets them and she puts them all together and she was having a sale back then. I don't know, what the prices are right now, but it was a deal to get these NPIs from her. And she sends it with a cute card, nice little thank you card. And they came in these 2 burlap bags because they're already all kitted with tags that tell you Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. So there were 2 bags of these NPI silks, and then I took them and put them in floss away bags so that as I'm using them, I can put the pieces back in the bags. So Hillside Rookery, she does kit up a lot of Carriage House Samplings with the NPIs, and we'll have them already kitted up for you. So she's on Etsy and Instagram. So that's where I got my NPI silk. So this is Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. And right now I am watching like Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Who else is stitching on this one? I think her and a group of people are stitching on this one. So I am doing it, like I said, on a 40 count because I'm using the NPIs, and because buying all of these NPI silks was pricey enough, even on sale. I didn't want to stitch over 2 on a larger piece of fabric because then I would have to buy double this amount to make sure I had enough. And I was like, yeah, I'm not all about spending that much money on the silks. So I'm doing it on 40 count Ligonier Latte linen by R&R Reproductions. And this is my start. So I have 2 pieces I'm doing on 40 count linen right now. This one and Andale. So these are a little bit slower stitching, but not impossible. And I'll bring it a little bit closer. I don't know if you can see it any better, but because I didn't get very, very far. Because believe it or not, I mean, this is a 92 by 92 inch square, each of these. So right there is almost 400 stitches, just stitching those borders for each one. So there's well over probably 1,200, 1,400 stitches that I already did. It doesn't look like much. But that was my start on June 13th. I started this one. And it is one of my big, because of all of those NPIs and those floss away bags are kind of bulky. It's in one of my large Garon toten bags. So that it will fit all of that NPI silks in there. And then this next one is a Nerissa Kogut start. It's called For the Love of Nature. This is one of her little bit older ones because this is when she still spiral bound her charts. For the Love of Nature. Because I was thinking, oh, I want to get started on some Christmas things. But the more I looked at it, I was like, this isn't really Christmas. This is just a nature piece. It's not Christmassy. I don't know why I kept thinking it was a Christmas piece. And this one is being stitched on a linen. It is, I am changing a couple of the colors around. Yeah, I made a copy of the sheet for the colors, and the highlighted ones are the colors I am using for the call for, but then I wrote in for other ones, conversions. And this one is being stitched on a piece of 32 count Luna linen by Lakeside Linens. And I just got a little upper left-hand corner start. That's all I did. I didn't get very many days on this one. I started For the Love of Nature on June 15th, and I worked on it for 3 days. And it must have been 3 days that I was busy because there's not much stitched on that. So again, that was For the Love of Nature by Nerissa Kogut, one of my favorite designers. And then I started by Plum Street, which is another one of my favorite designers because you've seen several of the Plum Streets. I started on June, what is this, 20th. I started Summer Moon by Plum Street Samplers. It looks like this. I can't wait till Winter Moon becomes available to everybody. You only could get it in a kit by Country Stitcher, somebody that had it in a kit form, and I don't even know if they even have the kits anymore. So I thought I can wait because I've got Spring Moon going, and I'm doing I started Summer Moon just in June. So I thought, well, I can wait until it comes available to everybody. And I am using all the called for threads. There's not a whole lot, but they're the overdyed cotton threads. And I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Ivory Lugana. And this was my start. That's how far I got. Had to get the little rabbit in there. And then this is the flagpole that goes up over the house. The flag. So that was my start for that one. I worked on that one for 3 days. And like I said, Paulette Stewart, solid stitching. Solid stitching. So, and my last new start in June. I have already started a couple of things this month. In fact, I started one last night, my second one last night. But I will show you those in the next check-in. But my last new start for June is by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. And it's a big girl. And I've been seeing a lot of people stitching on this. I was watching Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I think Chrissy Crosshatch Quilts. Socks for Mom, Becky. I think a bunch of those are stitching it together, or were. I think they're about done, or if not done. And Heidi, Stitching Faye, was stitching it also, and she finished it and showed it. So I was like, and I think I've seen, I don't know, who else? Several people have stitched this and finished this. Elizabeth Furness, 1836. And this is fun. This is fun stitching. There is a little bit of 1/1, but I don't think there's a whole lot of specialty stitches in this one. So far, like these little baby sheep right here, they're 1/1. But the rest of the animals, I think all the rest are There's a little 1/1 there, and of course the wording up here is 1/1, but not a whole lot, and most of it's just stitching, and this carnation border is gorgeous. And stitching this, because this is where I started, I want to get down here in this grass. This is fun. That's funny. It's total fill in, but fun. And I am stitching this with, I think I put it on the back of the book, 32 count light mocha Belfast linen, using 2 threads, stitching 2/2, and that's my start. I think that was the end, yeah. And that's how far I got on Elizabeth Furness. My poor little lady here needs her head, you know. It's either a hat, it looks like a hat to me, but it's either hat or hair. And I don't have quite the head all the way done on this sheep right here. I ran out of that color and just didn't, because right in front of that sheep then starts another one the same color. So I was just going to wait and finish them together. And you can barely see this. I'm using the DMCs because it's called for a Veriswa or DMC, and I'm using DMCs on a 32 count light mocha Belfast linen, 2/2. You can kind of see 3 right there. Love it. So that was my last new start for the first half of 2024. So that's 31. So I'm halfway. That put me exactly halfway. So I've already started, like I said, I've just started my second one for the month of July. Yeah, we're in July. I'm getting so confused because this has been a crazy summer already. So that was those were all of my new starts through June. And I've already started 2, so I've got 33 new starts already for this year going. And so that means I still need, what, 29 more? So 29 more to go. But what I want to do is, my next check-in will be just show you what I worked on in that month in July. It might even be into August. I don't know. This summer, like I said, it has been crazy. Because I do have a retreat I go to in July with some girlfriends from here. And then, like I said, there's still birthdays. My one granddaughter, the oldest granddaughter, the 16-year-old, well, no, she'll be 15? 15. I have kids that are 15, 16, and 17, so I get confused as to who's 15 and who's 16. Because her and my other grandson were born about 2 weeks apart from each other. One was born in Kansas and one was born here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So that same year, I needed to be in both places. So I remember telling both my daughters, I was like, you can't go early and you can't go late. You got to have your babies on your due dates. All right. I don't know how I'm going to be able to make this work. I can't be in Kansas and Virginia at the same time. So it worked. I was running from one hospital and then traveling cross country to the other one. And back then I didn't have the funds to be able to buy a plane ticket. So I drove all the way out to Fort Riley, Kansas. It's about a 20 or so hour drive. And so I drove it in 2 days by myself to get out there to see my second grandson be born, so, and babysit the oldest grandson, so his brother, while my daughter was having that baby, my second grandson. So, and then, my older daughter had her first baby here. So it was crazy. It was a crazy summer that summer too. So, I had, my last video, I had 3 charts that I was giving away. And I have picked the giveaway winners. I went ahead and did it ahead of time so I wouldn't have to mess with it during my video, because now I think the random comment picker, it's like I had to do it, I had to finagle it and do it a different way than I used to have to do it. So I was able to pick winners for these. And the first thing that I was giving away, I think, was called the Bluebirds and Bluebells Samplers and Smalls by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. And I said you needed to say the word bluebirds And the winner is at Jennifer Bluebaugh. Jennifer Blubaugh. Bluebaugh. Bluebaugh. So Jennifer, please contact me. I will not be commenting on your comment because we've had I don't know what you call them, trolls, somebody trying to hack in and mess with people and say, you've won, contact me. I don't comment on your comment. I will tell you in my video if you've won. So you need to be watching the video and contact me by emailing me at thevastitcher@gmail.com. And I can write that down, thevastitcher@gmail.com. And give me your address, your mailing address, so I can get this, and your name, your full name, so that I can get this chart mailed out to you. And if I haven't heard from you by my next video, then I will redraw for somebody else. And that goes the same for all 3 of these giveaways. So my email address, let me write it down here. I'm going to try to write it as big as I can and clear. Is thevastitcher@gmail.com. Okay? And then I was giving away 2 lavender and lace pieces. And please be over the age of 18 so I can get your address, name and address. So one of these, I don't know which one I did next, but this one is the Summer Angel by Lavender and Lace. It is unopened. I had stitched this one already myself, but I was able to, somebody gave me the second chart. So I'm going to give it away to one of you lucky viewers. And I said to say the word summer. So when I did the random comment generator, it's Jan R 2632. Jan R 2362. So the letter R and the name Jan. So again, email me with your address and your full name so I can mail it to you. And then the last one was by Lavender and Lace. And I said to say, this is Nantucket Rose. And I said to, and I'm stitching this one also, but this is a second copy, brand new copy of the pattern. And I said to say the name Rose, the word Rose in your comment. And the person who won this one is Crad Cliff XU5RQ. Crad Cliff. CRADCLIFF. So if that is you, please contact me with your address and I'll get this shipped out to you. And like I said, if I haven't heard back from any of these winners, I will try again. I will pick another name and announce it at my next video. So, and it may be, I'm hoping to get back at, the end of July, 1st of August. If not, it might be the end of August before I do the next one, since I feel like I'm starting to settle down where I'm getting a chance to get some stitching in, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the summer plays out. Like I said, I still have 3 more birthdays and a retreat, but I do some stitching at my retreat, so I will get stitching in more than likely. And as long as I don't break any more teeth or hurt any more rib cages or anything, maybe I'll get more stitching done. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I also wanted to do, looking down at my notes, last time I went through a whole list of people, like who have I been watching on Flosstube, because I like to hear about new Flosstubers, so that there might be somebody out there. In fact, I found this one that I'm going to tell you that she's really been doing videos for a while, and I know people have heard of her. I don't know where I've been. I guess I've been under a rock. But I like to shout out people when I think about it and I get a chance to, and different ones, because I still watch all my tried and true that I've already told you about many times before, and I've mentioned quite a few that have inspired me to stitch on some of these that I do watch. But these are three different people. Well, I've mentioned some of them. Nerissa from Nerissa Stitching Lifestyle. She's out in New Zealand. If you love samplers, especially Hands Across the Sea, but she also stitches Mirabilias, Nor Corbett, I think. She does a lot of Christmas ornament stitching. She's doing the 12 days of Christmas stockings right now. In fact, I think she said she's going to stitch 5 sets of those. But that lady gets some stitching done, and she is a prolific stitcher. And when you look at her walls behind her, she's got Elizabeth Weston stitched back there. She's got Anne Tong Ufendale finished hanging on the wall behind her. Amy Can. Oh my gosh, just all of these beautiful samplers. And then on another wall in another room, she's got a gazillion Mirabilias that she has done. Lady of the Mist, the one with the red cloak. I mean, she just got, it's phenomenal. She's done the Winter White Santa. She gets a lot of stitching done. And that lady always shows so much stitching. So Nerissa from Nerissa Stitching Lifestyle. And then a lot of people have shouted this lady out. So she's well known in the Flosstube community, but she's only just now put out a few of Flosstubes that she has. I think she was doing one before with somebody or something and then quit for a while. But her name is Tara Sullivan, and she is Sully Stitches, Sullly Stitches on Flosstube. And that lady gets a whole lot done. I mean, when she says, oh, I'm going to start this, and then she comes back a couple weeks later and she's finished. And sometimes it's already framed. I'm like, lady, you are like amazing. And I think she's in North Carolina, I believe. So she's a little south of me. Love her accent. Love it, love it, love it. But Tara from Sully Stitches. She is just a prolific stitcher. And then a friend of hers, is Christine from Hollis Hands Create. That's the one that I'm like, where have I been that I have not seen her videos? And that's the thing. It's like, that's why I want to try to shout out people, because it's like, I was watching Christine's one. The first one I watched of hers, I was watching just a couple of weeks ago, a week ago. And I was like, where is she? Why haven't I seen her videos? She stitches on so many things that I stitch on. And I just, because I was thinking, oh, got that one. Oh, stitching on that one. Oh, finished that one. She is stitching on so many things I stitch on. It's unbelievable. So we have a lot of similar taste. So if you like what I stitch on, you want to see somebody else's stitching on that stuff, it's some of the same things or a little bit different, maybe other Plum Streets or Teresa Kogets or whatever, Blackbirds, things like that. Watch Christine, and she is Hollis Hands Create on Flosstube, and she's amazing also. So those are 3 new people, so 3 people I haven't mentioned before that I do watch and have been watching. I've been watching Nerissa for a little while. I've been watching Tara for probably since she put out her first video. It showed it, hers popped right up, Flosstube #1 showed up in my feed, and I go, okay, let me check her out, and she's amazing. So I was able to watch her from Flosstube #1, but like I said, Hollis Hand Create, she never showed up in my feed. And I happened to just find her one day, and I was like, oh, let me click on hers and see what she's got going on. Because I think she was holding up some project in her thumbnail that was something I was working on. And I said, oh, let me see what she's doing. So those are 3 that I can shout out. But like I said, I watch many, many more. I still have all my tried and true favorites that I've been watching for years and years. Got the OG people. And it's always fun to welcome new people also to the Flosstube community. And it's just because there's got to be somebody out there is stitching on things that you like or has a personality that clicks with you or whatever. And if you can't find them on Flosstube, out of I don't know how many Flosstubes are out there. Every time I turn around, I'm like, new people. Or people that maybe have had 50 videos out and I've never even seen their videos. So there's lots and lots out there. So if you know of any good floss tubers that you've been enjoying that I have never mentioned, let me know. I'd love to check them out. Or if you do floss tube videos. So I just want to thank you guys again. We're 2 hours in, and I guess I need to be cutting this off and not rambling and chit-chatting too long, because I got a pile of stuff to pick up. I've probably got a 2-foot pile of stuff sitting down at my feet here to now put back away. So I wish you guys a really happy summer. I'm hoping to get back sooner than what I usually do. So please forgive me for taking so long sometimes to get back. I really would like to be doing a video every single month, and I'm trying my hardest. But sometimes life gets busy, and I know there are people that they seem to be so busy and still get their videos done every couple of weeks. And I'm like, hats off to you ladies. I just, because every time it seems like I go say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do my video, then something happens, something comes up and I can't. And so then I have to, and then I'm busy then for 3 days. And then I go, okay, this week I'm going to get one out. And then something happens and and then before I know it, it snowballs down to where it's been 7-8 weeks since I've done a video. So excuse me for being tardy. And I love you guys. I hope you have a great summer and lots of great stitching in. And everybody stay happy and healthy. Until next time. Bye.